let's spend a little bit of time going over what makes up a grow room. There's many different ways you can set up your grow room. You can set it up in a room you already have, like right in your living room. You can put a little rack there. But there's a couple key features I'd really like to go over on like what you should really consider when setting up your grow room. I'll just list a couple of those now before I give you a little bit of a tour of my tiny little grow room I have here. The biggest thing probably is going to be your floor. You don't want to be doing this on carpet. It's going to be a mess. If you have carpet and you absolutely must set up your rack on carpet to get going, you can always put down some plastic or something just so you protect the carpet from water spilling on it, and soil is inevitably going to fall on the floor. And so your flooring is going to be a pretty big deal. In my grow room, I have just linoleum flooring. Works great. You're also going to want to be somewhere where you can easily get some power to where you're going to be growing, because you're going to need some lights and some fans and whatnot. So close to an outlet will be helpful. You can always run extension cords, but it's not really recommended to use too many. You don't want to overload your circuits, so you want to make sure you have enough power for everything you need. Luckily, most microgreen equipment, the lights and everything are really low power, so it's not like you're going to overload a 15 amp circuit very easily. You're also going to want to have some room where you can plant your microgreens, where you can harvest your microgreens, where you can wash your microgreens if that's something you're going to be doing. Also, you're going to want a spot where you can wash your trays out, sanitize things. A refrigerator, dedicated refrigerator, would be really nice. That's kind of the minimum. You can use your home refrigerator if you're just kind of starting out. Eventually, if you got very big, you'll want a walk-in cooler, which has all kinds of different benefits. I personally don't have one. I'm using a refrigerator. But one of the big benefits of using a walk-in cooler is if you have a crop that's growing maybe a little bit too fast and you're not ready to harvest it yet, and you want to make sure it's as fresh as can be when you do harvest it, you can put your whole tray of microgreens right in the walk-in cooler, and that will basically stop their growth and preserve them until you're ready to harvest them. You're going to want areas to keep your trays, your seeds, soil, various supplies, spray bottles, cleaning supplies, your labels, your printer, scale, all kinds of various things like that. So now that I've listed off a few things, let me turn the camera around and I will kind of walk you around a little bit and just show you kind of how my room is set up. Even this room is temporary. I'm doing this. It's temporary. I said that 2 years ago and I'm still in here, but this is my last winter of being in here. Next summer or next winter, I will be in a room that will be built dedicated for microgreens. So let me show you around a little bit. So here is my little grow room. I don't have a whole lot growing in here at the moment to show you, and honestly, we're not going to focus too much on what's growing in here today. We're going to focus more on the room and what's in it. So this is a room that eventually will become a bathroom. I am doing remodeling, and that's why that's what I meant when I said this was temporary. And that's why I was able to cover everything in Panda plastic. There's no sheetrock or anything here. I just put up the Panda plastic, which is black on one side and white on the other. And you can use it for blacking out things, or you can also use it for reflecting light away if the sun is getting too bright. So I've got my seed organizer here, which is something my wife gave me. It's not made for organizing seeds, but it works awesome for that. Got my dehumidifier, which I shut off for making the video. In this room, I have 3 racks. One that is bare at the moment, and I don't even have lights on it right now. I am doing some rearranging. And then I've got these other 2 racks that do have things growing on them, and you can see I've got all different kinds of lights because I'm always trying out different lights. Right in front of me, I have a fan. Turn around. Just a regular household fan. Works great, kind of gets in the way, but it's everything I need for this little room. Here I've got my utility sink, which is a great help.
Really helps if you have a utility sink. To start out, you don't absolutely have to have one, but you will really want one if you're going to be growing indoors for very long. Here I've got my refrigerator. All the Patriots magnets are optional, but I think they help. Up there I keep my scale, some paper towels, spray bottle, my stamp for my dates. There's also some bleach up there, different things. Coming back over here, you can see I've got some trays up there. I've got a bunch of trays down here. I've got bins all over the place where I keep more seeds. Another bin with more seeds. I've got a broom that is zip tied to a tray. Let me show you that. One of my little inventions here. So what I do with this is when I unstack my trays, I run a tray over this and it just knocks the seeds and soil off the tray and in off at the bottom of the tray and then into this tray so that it doesn't fall all over my racks and make a mess, because you want to keep things as clean as possible. You're going to always need to sweep up, vacuum, sanitize, mop, all that, but anything you can do to make it easier is definitely worth it. Up here I've got all my labels and more labels that I can print. And there's some paper up there. You can see all kinds of different, whole stack of labels. I could organize that better, and I have a thing to put on the wall to organize that better. I just haven't done it. Got some various clamshells. These are 8-ounce clamshells that I would use for 1 ounce of microgreens. I don't use those very often. And over here are the 16-ounce clamshells that I use for 2 ounces of microgreens, and that's primarily what I use. Got my big blue bin. I use that if I'm going to make a mix. I've got all kinds of, might as well show you while we're in here. Got some plants that I'm starting to grow for growing outside. Tomatoes, watermelon, cantaloupe, some peppers, some cilantro that's definitely ready to be harvested. So then I've got this other little expansion area. That is an addition that is going to be coming down, but I was running out of room in here, and I got tired of having to set up that table every time I wanted to harvest or plant. And so I decided to take advantage of that little room this winter and kind of moved in. Not going to show you the whole room though, because it's kind of a mess in there, and I don't want you to see my mess. And you can see I am guilty of using extension cords myself, but I'll show you a little bit. So if you've seen my YouTube videos, you'll see that that's kind of where I'm normally standing, and I just focus on that area. You can see down in my room. Here's my little office area. A laptop, extra monitor. That all helps out. So that pretty much covers what makes up a basic grow room. There'll be a whole lot more details in the write-up below this video. Make sure you check those out. Throughout this entire course, the real details will be in the write-ups. Making the videos, it's a little bit harder to get all the details in there. And if you want to go back to read something or find information or to pass a quiz, it's going to help a lot if you just go through and read it rather than trying to find out where in the video I said something.